How about some email?
How about some email? Let's go for it. All right.
This is Denise, who says, if a couple has never consummated their marriage, are they considered married in the eyes of God? A friend of mine recently had her marriage annulled and said that it was okay since they hadn't had sex. Do you think that's true?
Well, certainly the Catholic Church felt that, and the Church through the ages has felt that. If a marriage hasn't been consummated, it doesn't exist. So, Jesus said, what God has joined together, let not man put asunder, but they've got to be joined together. And I just think if a couple isn't consummating their marriage, they're not really married. But you can't ask me, in the sight of God, what is it? I don't know what God thinks about it, but that's what,
That's traditionally how it's
been perceived. Traditionally what we felt, and I think we hope corporately we've got the mind of God.
This is Zachary, who says, my Bible study leader said he forgot about a friend's surgery from the week before. He felt like God told him to pray and intercede for that person anyway, so he did. Did that prayer really help his friend from a week ago? Do you think our prayers can transcend time and space like that?
Well, a guy's under the knife, a surgeon's cutting on him, and he sews him up, and then a week later you pray that the surgeon will have skill. It's a little outlandish. Of course, you can pray that he'll be healed, but at the same time, there is no time barrier with God. There's no beginning, no end, there's no middle. I mean, he sees everything at one time. So in a sense, he could see your prayers and say, okay, he's going to be praying, so I'll translate them back here and make them effective.
He can do whatever he wants to do.
He can do whatever he wants to. You know, folks, I've thought about this whole thing about foreknowledge. When I was in seminary, I worked this, you work out these things when you're studying it, and it's like a movie. You take a movie and you see it in frames, and it looks like one thing follows another. But if you took that film, you could drape it around the room, and you could see the beginning of it, you could see the middle of it, you could see the end of it. It's all there. So that's the way God sees history and what we're doing.
This is from Julia, who says, my dad has been in full-time ministry for 40 years. He's starting to really hate what he's doing. He thinks no one needs him anymore, and he barely drags himself out of bed each day. I thought people in ministry would love their job until they died because they get to think about God all day long. Why do you think this man of the Lord is acting this way?
Well, Judy, the first thing, they don't think about God all day long. They think about the deacon's board, and they think about the roof that's falling in, and they think about
letters they've received after the sermon on
all
Sunday.
The people that criticize what they've said, and they've got to think about what they're going to say and so forth. This is what's known as burnout. You know, people get burned out, but I must say in the Old Testament, the Levites started ministering when they were 30, and they were retired when they were 50. They had a 20-year service, and this man has been working for 40 years. He needs a sabbatical, like a year off, and to be with the Lord, to renew himself physically and spiritually. But he's just burned out, and you say, well, you thought everybody does that. Well, you can't stay on a high year after year after year. The ministry is giving, 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 and there's nobody really that he can talk to, and he can share what's going on in his life. And he hopes he has an understanding spouse, but even she can't understand it all. So it's a lonely calling, and he just needs a sabbatical. They give sabbaticals to teachers. There's no reason a minister shouldn't have one too.
Mm-hmm. This is, I'm going to read this fast because we just got a little bit of time left. My friend is a Christian but practices Judaism as well. She said the New Testament is full of Hebraic symbols and roots. I want to learn more about this, but I don't want to lose my faith as a Christian. Do you think looking into the Jewishness of the New Testament would confuse me? Would it weaken my faith or make it stronger?
No, it would strengthen your faith when you see the historic background of Jesus, and his Jewishness is a fact, and it is a very important fact that establishes that he's of the line of David. And you say, who's David? Well, he's, the king of so forth and so on, and that Jesus is the Messiah. It strengthens you. That doesn't mean you have to become Jewish or pick up Jewishness in the way you worship. You're still a Christian. Mm-hmm. Jesus is still the Messiah, and you still worship him. But by all means, I'm very fond of Jewishness, and our especially our Jewish Christian friends. There are millions of them who are Messianic Jews. Well, we leave you today with these words from 1 Thessalonians 5. Faithful is he who calls you, and he will bring it to pass. Thank you so much for being with us, and Lord willing, we'll be back on Friday, so stay tuned then. Bye-bye.